Hey folks, Thack with AOK Urban Homestead, and we are gonna try and build a chicken coop out of recycled materials. So my wife and I were on Facebook Marketplace, and we found these A-frames for free, and we said, well, wood lumber is really expensive, so maybe we could do something with those A-frames. So we went and got them, thinking that I was going to use them as trellising for the garden. But now that we're going to be given some chickens, I am going to repurpose this the wood and stuff and try and make an A-frame or a box chicken coop. I'm not much of a carpenter. I can draw plans really well, but actually putting those plans into action, not the greatest at it. So, um, yeah, I think I'll start with dismantling everything. Well, folks, um, I thought I was gonna save some money and some time and just go ahead and start dismantling these A-frames, but well, I didn't realize how many nails I would have to pull. I didn't realize how many boards were holding each of them together. Yeah, so I am gonna actually go ahead and just probably break this video up into as many parts as I need to break them up to, so that way I'm not like doing a 5 hour video. But anyways, I got the first set apart, and Brenda came out to help me, and she's a lot better carpenter than I am, so uh, I'm very thankful that she came to help me. So let's keep watching as we dismantled the second one. Well, folks, with help from my beautiful wife, we were able to take off all the parts that I need. Tomorrow, she's going to take all the nails off the boards, and then she's going to, I don't know what saw you call it, but anyway, she's going to rip some of the 2x4s into 2x2s for me. And yeah, the build is actually coming along really quick, but it is supper time for us now, and so I'll see you guys tomorrow. Well, in a split second for you guys. Well, folks, I just got off work, and Brenda has been very busy already. She took all the nails off of those. Well, I thought they were 2x4s, but they're what, honey?
They're 3.5 by 1.5.
3.5 by 1.5. I think that's the non-true 2x4s or whatever. All we're doing is we set up the table saw, and we're gonna rip them in half, so that way, you know, we get more usage out of what we have. All right. We were able to rip through this very quickly, even though it was our first time using the table saw. Thank goodness we were able to help each other get it done. Well, folks, we got our pieces down here. Now I have to screw them together, and then we'll kind of measure and try to level, because my ground slopes downhill quite a bit. And then, yeah, we'll go from there. Yeah, screwing them together was okay. The leveling part was kind of hard for me to figure out, but after a moment, we were able to get it all framed together, and well, I continue to keep working and try to get both of them leveled out there. I put a board underneath to help level it out. Now I'm using uh, one of the rip pieces that we used on the bottom, and then the 2x4 in the middle, and then another rip piece. The only reason why I did that was so that way the screws would hold better. I know I should have just done two 2x4s, but then the boards wouldn't have held up as well as I wanted to. So I'm trying to do both sides so that way I can get it all leveled. And here I'm measuring it out, and I thought 40 inches would be a great uh, distance for this. Then I realized, well, maybe I should have made it bigger. But by this time I already had things all screwed in and leveled out, so I was pretty happy with it. Well, folks, I'm kind of happy with what I've gotten done so far. It took me 2 hours, but like I said, I'm not a carpenter, so I'm I'm doing the best I can. Anyways, I'm gonna go get cleaned up. It's time for supper and spend time with my family. Folks, excuse the wind noise, but I forgot to pick up the camera. If you guys can see, I made a platform right there. That's where the chickens will roost at night or whatever, and I'll put in some nesting boxes and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm really excited that, and we also got the poles up there for the roof, and we're just gonna keep going. All right, folks, so I'm gonna put the nesting boxes here, but there was this gap right here, so I made some wood to fit the gap, so that way when I put my board up against it, it will be, there won't be much of a gap, so wind can't get too close to them. I mean, I know there's still going to be a hair of a gap, but at least it won't be too bad. Sorry for the wind noise, guys. We got a storm coming in, and that's part of the reason why I did not film right away, because man, I'm rushing against time and the weather. Okay, so with the gaps in there, with the gaps in, or the gap stop in, I'm just going to nail them into place instead of screwing them into place, because they're just to stop the gap, air gap. So, and I'll probably put some kind of sealant in between them, so that way I'll have even more of a gap for the airflow. I mean, less of airflow gap. That's what I meant. All right, folks, I'm just going to continue to work, and hopefully I'll remember to film this time. All right, so with it being triangular here, it is going to be a little bit harder for me to try and square things up, but I'm gonna set up some posts so that way when I do put the nesting boxes in, it'll be straight up and down instead of at the angle like the triangle is. So yeah, maybe I could have just spent some money and done a full square thing, but I do have a budget, and it's a very low budget, so I do the best I can with the recycled material. So I got 4 posts up. I squared them up so that they're straight up and down. That way, this when the nesting boxes go up against it, they will be straight up and down instead of an angle. And that's the top brace for the nesting box and the door to the nesting box. I decided to go about, I think I went 16 inches up, so that way the nesting box can be at 12 inches, and I can also have 4 inches gap to get my hands through to get the eggs out. Alright, so I went ahead, cut the doors out, and I'm just making sure that I have the right size and everything else, so that way I can kind of figure out where I'm going to put the hinges and things like that. Like I said, I have not built much, but I later on figured it out. And so, yeah, we're just squaring things up for the doors. Well, folks, I'm going to take a lunch break. Man, it's gotten cold, like super cold.